Hi, Heather. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I'm excited to be speaking with you today.
Hi, Andrew. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
As a starting point today, let's dive a little bit deeper into your organization. Can you share what your company is all about and what your role is?
Sure. I serve on the board of ATD, ATD Rhode Island. ATD is the Association for Talent Development, and I'm at the Rhode Island chapter. ATD provides professional development opportunities for the local workplace learning and performance community. We do that through innovative programming and networking events. ATD, which is our national association, is actually an international professional association in the field of training and development.
As a member of the board, what are some ways you support the organization?
Sure. We have distinct roles on the board. I serve as the VP of Marketing, and I've served for 2 years now. Because it's a volunteer-run member organization, nonprofit, the organization relies pretty heavily on the board to get the message out, to communicate, to sort of maximize our networks, utilize our networks for really just getting the message out.
What do you like most about being on the board at the organization?
Well, for me, it was sort of a life-changing thing. I worked from home during the pandemic, and I work for a smaller business, and it got kind of lonely.
Mhm.
I'm a learning designer. I'm an instructional designer. It's can be somewhat isolating. And so what's been great about being on the board is having this sort of team environment and getting to sort of flex some skills and have a great impact and to see an immediate impact for the effort that I expend.
I'd love to hear a little bit about some of your overall marketing philosophies at
Sure.
EPD Rhode Island. What are some of these philosophies, your guiding principles for the organization? Before we hit record, I think you're going to have a unique perspective as well as a very volunteer-based organization with a smaller budget. How do you still get the word out?
Sure. When I think about what makes up our marketing strategy, I would say that we are organic, meaning that it's sort of small and it comes from us. We rely heavily on our board, on our networks, and our national affiliation to attract new members. We're resourceful. I like to say that we're scrappy, which means we don't have a large budget. And so we aim to maximize the resources that we have, whether it's, again, leveraging our networks or the technology and the systems that we use. We're super collaborative. So even though I serve as the VP of marketing, it's very much a team approach to developing our marketing and communicating our message. And then finally, I would say that we are service oriented. Our marketing is very member focused. We really expect that in creating the best experience through consistent, high value, relevant programming for our members and having appropriate messaging that we're going to grow well enough to continue doing it.
So what I heard within that answer was you're less focused on shiny object syndrome of the new hottest social media platform, trying to get a viral video, trying to use paid advertising into your way towards growth. It's a lot of bootstrap referrals. Can you share a little bit more, what is bootstrap marketing really meaning and maybe any practical examples you could share as well? I think that'd be very informative.
Sure. We're a professional network, a professional networking organization. And so for people in the training and development field. Because of that, our primary social marketing channel is LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has been really good for us. There's a lot of free tools to use. For example, we're using it to create events.
Those
We're
are
creating
great.
groups. So we're really just trying all these different things to to kind of maximize what's available for us. And then it also does give access to our networks and our our members' networks too. So LinkedIn has been really good for us. In the last 18 months, we've grown our followers by 300%, which is
Awesome.
huge. just by using this free tool. But the challenge with LinkedIn is being visible in people's feeds, and then not only being visible but being noticeable. So creating content that stops the scroll and gets people to engage. And so what's been fun, I guess, is sort of finding ways to kind of work within the LinkedIn algorithm. And so, Andrew, I said that we're collaborative, and one of the things that we sort of do is, if we're posting something on LinkedIn, we'll kind of shoot it out to our network and say, hey, if you have an opportunity or if you're free, try to engage with this post, because it might increase the likelihood that it'll show up in more of our audience's feed. So yeah, so we've been doing things like that. And we focused a lot of our energy there. And, we've also been able to collect some analytics using LinkedIn. And so because of that, we're starting a partner program and can use those analytics to become attractive to prospective corporate sponsors. So that's really kind of snowballed. And then our other way to kind of bootstrap is, and just sort of take advantage of what we have, is we use a member management software. And so, there's definitely some benefits for volunteer-run organizations to make the investment in a member management software. So email has been fantastic for us. We started an email newsletter, and open rate is awesome, like 46%. Which we're really happy about. And, you have the opportunity to do sort of like set it and forget it type of email reminders before events. So the member management software has been critical too, in terms of marketing.
I have a few questions within that, and congrats on the success on LinkedIn and the open rate on your email campaigns. So,
Mhm.
I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn, in B2B organizations. I
Mhm.
also dread logging into LinkedIn and seeing the number of random friend requests I'm going to get who immediately go into your inbox and try to sell you something. So, how do can you share a little bit more on how do you create content or engage with LinkedIn in a way that doesn't create that sense of dread? And I think everyone's experienced that on LinkedIn and what it can
Mhm.
sometimes turn into with your inbox just being, nonstop someone selling you. And then also any insight you have on how you got such a good open rate on your email newsletter campaigns.
Sure. So first with LinkedIn, so we are not, because we are service oriented, we are member focused. We are not looking to harass members or reach out directly. Really, the only way that we reach out directly to our networks and the way that we were able to actually grow followers is, we sort of had this initiative where we're like, let's through your personal LinkedIn account, you can ask somebody to follow your company. And so any of us, there's 10 of us on the board, we would invite people in our network who might be interested in learning and talent development to just follow our company. It's as simple and as organic as that. And it's not and the way it comes into, I mean, we actually ran some tests. It's inoffensive. We are not saying, oh, this person didn't follow us, or, it's just very like, if you think you might benefit, please follow us. And so, we send out invites to people from our personal networks to follow ATD. It was Bay Colonies, will now be ATD Rhode Island. So, there's no sort of harassment or anything else involved. And I think, what we try to do is then provide value to them following us. And so if it is anybody who is in learning and talent development, would benefit from the things that we share. Everything is relevant to learning and talent development. And, fortunately, I think our field in learning and talent development, just in general, sort of, I don't mean to sort of generalize, but just kind of like nice people. There's no hard sell here. There's no like you have to come to this event. It's more of a hey, come on this journey with us. This year we're doing a festival of learning. And so we have these great monthly programs. Here's the information you need, but there's really no hard sell and certainly no harassment. So I think, does that answer the first part of your
It does.
question
It
about
does.
LinkedIn and not being like gross on LinkedIn or
It
turning
does.
people off? Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of that philosophy translates into your email newsletter and a very high open rate too.
Yeah, so part of it is we're starting to pay more attention to data, right? And so that's like one of the innovations I think that has been huge for us and for nonprofit organizations is this like democratization of data. You don't have to be a data scientist to look at things and to look at data, to look at easily accessible data and create insights from it. And so, a lesson that we learned, and this is going to tie back to the newsletter and why we started it and why our open rate is so high. I was posting an event on LinkedIn, and we were really trying to get some engagement and get registrations for this particular event. And we're tweaking different things and posting at different times to just see if anybody will register, and registration was staying flat. And so we noticed that when our automated system sent out an email event reminder at 5:30, 5:35 registration comes in, 5:42 registration comes in. So it was clear that email was a way to reach our audience, and that's how they were. That was the call to action. That was the impetus for them to take action and to register for events. And so we started to realize, well, wait a minute, if email is the best channel to get in touch with to tell our audience about events, maybe we have to look at this a little bit differently. And LinkedIn becomes more of an awareness campaign, and email becomes more of the sort of call to action. And so, with that, we decided, what if we were able to let people know every month what events were coming up that month, and then also what's coming up for the following month. And it's really grown sort of bigger and bigger. It's, we've put more and more effort into the design and making it attractive and making sure that it's not overwhelming. And, adding things like photography. We've noticed that people really like, the most engagement that we get on LinkedIn is when we have photography of events, when people can see themselves and when we're tagging them. And so we've sort of taken that strategy into our newsletter, where the top starts with any event photography that we have. So it's more likely that when somebody opens an email and there's a chance they're going to see themselves or someone they know, they're more interested. So, we've done things like that just to sort of move the needle and try to get that open rate and click rate and engagement up. And it's amazing how sort of what we learned from LinkedIn informs what we do with the member management and the email outreach, and vice versa. So.
I want to get your thoughts on success in marketing. So
Mhm.
I say this because sometimes when I'm speaking to larger organizations, they don't understand the point of marketing, or maybe it's just a line item on their budget that they just do. So, they're higher up, their manager, gives it a check mark. But in my opinion, you're up against two challenges. One, it's small organizations, so you can't waste money. Two, as a nonprofit, in my experience, nonprofits can be resistant to the idea of marketing. Uh,
Mhm.
can you share a little bit about, what does success look like and how do you overcome some of those challenges in your situation on the board here?
Sure. So to me, marketing and sales, I mean, I have a long sales background before I went into learning design. And so I've always believed, someone said, like Zig Ziglar said, that selling is helping, right? And if you're selling learning, is there any greater truth, right? I mean, you're selling learning. This is the programs that we are promoting are genuinely to help people to create a world that works better. That's the ATD tagline, is together we create a world that works better. And so, this is really just opportunities for professional development. And if you come at it with this sort of, selling is helping, marketing is helping, we're genuinely interested in this being a service, this being in service to our members. And so, I think maybe at first the board wasn't sure what to expect, because when you have a sales background and it can be you kind of focus on KPIs, and there's a little bit of an intensity there. And, how is this going to, well, what is our current membership level, and where do we want to see it grow to by the end of the year? And let's develop targets and kind of move backwards from there. And I think maybe that's not always the best fit for a nonprofit organization to look at that. But I guess I would say, the strategy is that people can tell, the board can tell that it is from a place of caring and a place of service. And it's also kind of coming out of the pandemic. It was more clear that the sort of our digital appearance, our digital footprint was who we are. And so it was so much more important to really show who we are and to put our best foot forward. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like, it was time to upgrade the website. It was time to sort of elevate the appearance and the social media, to just to sort of fully represent who we are, and when we couldn't do it face to face anymore. So I think that sort of made the board and just the organization in general more open to some being more intentional and really strategic with marketing. So.
So my last question today, Heather, is looking into the future in 2024. What is an area of marketing you're excited about this year? And whether that's a new social media platform, new software, getting back to the basics of in real life events happening, what are you looking forward to this year in marketing?
Sure. So we are doing a name change. Previously, we were ATD Bay Colonies, and over the next month, we'll be changing over to ATD-RI. Some things that I'm really excited about would be our new website. So we're unveiling a brand new website with a more modern look and feel, and we're sort of carrying that design story throughout our digital presence. I would say the other thing I'm super excited about is just being able to be more intentional with our marketing. Something that we're prioritizing this year is making our marketing more accessible. It's something that as learning designers is incredibly important to us. And so we're now, adding alt tags to our images and paying attention to colors. And so I think that's things, again, just in the service of our members. And that's something to be excited about. Just gaining all that experience and potentially having that impact is huge. So.
Perfect. Well, Heather, can you end and share any ways to follow up with you, the organization? This episode should be released by the time the new website has been published, so feel free to share any ways we can follow up with you.
Yay. So definitely check us out at atdri.org. You can find ATD Rhode Island on LinkedIn. You could also find me on LinkedIn as Heather Boyle, MED. I will be presenting at the ATD Chapter Leaders Conference in New Orleans on May 18th. So very excited about that. My presentation is titled Scrappy and Strategic, Leveraging Digital Marketing to Engage Chapter Members.
Love it. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Andrew.